You don't have to be as old as I am to know life's too short to put time into doing something that's not taking me to where I want to go. Or it's taking me the long way round when I'm keen to be moving towards my destination as efficiently as I can. And the how to draw videos we watch on YouTube are one of the ways we hope we can get more efficiently to our destination, whatever that may be in our drawing. So here are 8 ways you can reflect on, are the videos I'm watching in my how to draw journey, the learning to draw videos of course, are they helping me get to the place I want to go with my drawing? And can I say these 8 points revolve around 4 assumptions. And the first is that you want to learn to draw well, that this is a commitment that you're making, that you're prepared to spend some time doing, put some effort into, that learning to draw well is something that's a part of who you are. The second assumption is that learning to draw is a skill that we can learn in the way we learn any skill. And this leads on to the third assumption, that learning itself is a process. If you like, learning is a skill, and there are better ways to learn, more effective ways to learn. And the final assumption that may surprise some of you is that talent is not an issue or a concept that's of any consideration at all in this process. I've left the most important one till last because I was afraid that if I put it first, you might think, oh, that's not very practical. I'm hoping that after going through some of the more, if you like, specific points, that the huge importance of what should probably be the first point will make more sense to you. The first point, if you've been watching videos already, particularly if there are a few channels that you've been watching more consistently from, has your drawing been improving? It's easy, particularly if you've never been on the teacher side of the fence, to think that if I'm watching lessons and my drawing's not improving, that I'm not doing it right, that somehow I'm not learning what I should be learning, that there's a problem with me. When the truth is, if we think back to school, not all our teachers were the same, not all were as good at teaching, and with some we learnt better than others. If you've been watching a channel and videos for some time and you can't see a clear and obvious improvement in your drawing, particularly one that you can trace back to things that you learnt in the videos and then you worked at putting them into practice, that in fact, having seen or heard them in the video, you were able to put them into practice. If that's not happening, then quite apart from the question of is it a good video or not, it's obviously not a good video for you because you're not able to draw out of it what you need to be able to improve, to go further in your drawing where you are now. Don't think the problem has to be you. Whatever the reason, these videos, these channels aren't working for you. Time to find something that will work for you. Second point, are you watching videos that talk about and demonstrate a concept, a technique, without a real life drawing context? The two most obvious examples I can think of are perspective videos that are either all about a little cube or rectangular prism on a flat plane with lines going off to 2 vanishing points, or something very similar, or hugely oversimplified, basically symbolic house structures in the same position. But they don't actually let you see how that looks in real life, and they don't address the issues that happen in real life, such as when the ground's not level, when the boxes aren't all lined up in a grid to each other, and so forth. The other important understanding technique that I'm thinking about is cross-hatching in videos where, again, basically we have a cube, maybe a sphere and a cylinder with hatching lines placed in a certain pattern on those cubes to represent the shade and the shadows that they might cast. And we're basically told this is how you hatch. When in fact we're probably never going to do a drawing that is a cube with hatching on one side that's in the shade and casting a shadow. Teaching a technique that's not immediately applied to a real life drawing situation, and by that I just mean the sort of drawings you want to draw, is not helpful, and it can lead you thinking both, I understand it, but then thinking, I can't apply it. And again, we then start to blame ourselves that somehow I haven't understood it well enough, when in fact it was the teaching that was inadequate. In the time that you're watching those videos, you could be watching videos that start to discuss how this looks in real life, so that you know when and how to be applying these techniques, which in the end is the whole point of learning the technique. The third type of drawing videos that are not going to be helpful for you learning to draw are the step-by-step follow-along ones. Simply because when you watch those videos and when you follow along, when someone else draws a line and then you draw that line and then they draw another line and you draw another line, and at the end they have a drawing and hopefully you have a drawing very similar. While that may feel satisfying because you're able to look at a nice drawing, you haven't learned anything at all really about the skill of drawing. What you've been learning is the skill of copying, and it is a skill, but it's a different skill. So if that's not the skill you're wanting to learn, if you're wanting to be able to create your own drawings without seeing someone else's drawing first and copying their drawing, then those videos will not lead you in that direction. They will not equip you at all, and they'll probably mislead you in what the drawing process to create original drawings actually is all about. The fourth type of videos that I think are very unhelpful if we're trying to learn to draw, and I hope I can explain this clearly enough, is where each video seems like and it feels completely self-contained. Because the truth is, the drawing process is a complex one that can be broken into different parts, but all those parts always remain very interconnected with each other, and any single drawing is going to rely on many of them woven together in such a way as to achieve the particular purpose of the drawing. And learning to weave together the various skills, the various elements that confront us when we draw, not just techniques, but strategies for starting and plotting a drawing, and other issues such as keeping things in proportion or keeping things in scale, as well as good composition and so forth, having a drawing that's worth drawing. How we produce marks, the sorts of marks that can be produced in different ways. All of these things are not standalone events in learning to draw. They all the time, connect and weave in with each other. And the videos we watched should be not just reminding us that this is the case, but explicitly demonstrating and referencing how this is happening in the demonstration drawing. Even if there is a primary focus, as there usually is in a drawing demo, having the potential interconnectedness of various issues demonstrated and made explicit to us is part of the way we will come to understand the complexity and start to become skilled in juggling this complexity when we draw ourselves without any guidance or reference from an outsider. And please, if these are helpful, hit the like button for me. If all the videos that I'm watching have a sameness about them, and by sameness I mean both the format and the content and the information that's given, then even if it's a very useful format, it's going to be very limited in what I can learn in an ongoing way, because learning to draw is a process. And at one stage of my drawing journey, I might need some very simple explanations, some very simple examples of how some very fundamental drawing principles apply. But as I develop, I will need videos that lead me through increasing complexity in subject, in technique, in the processing, in the thinking in my head before I can put pen to paper. And perhaps I'm watching a video that served me very well at the beginning of my drawing journey and that did lead to improvement, but now I don't seem to be able to go past that point. And it could be that the teaching level has stopped at the point you've stopped at, and so it's not able to lead you into the next process that you need to learn, into the next stage of complexity, of juggling, of weaving together all the things that are of consideration when we start any given drawing. This sixth issue, I think, is hugely important. I cannot see the value in any how to draw drawing demo where a drawing is being created if we cannot see the reference that the artist is using. If they're drawing from their imagination, then that needs to be explained to us. And it also needs to be explained to us how they are engaging with their imagination to know what to do. Otherwise, we're simply reduced to copying what they're doing. If I'm going to learn how to draw myself from a photo, I need to know when I look at the photo, how do I start to work out what to draw? How do I work out where to start? How do I work out how to keep things in proportion? How do I work out how to keep things in scale? These are all the issues we need to be thinking about, juggling in our head as we look at a photo and work out where and how we will start. But it's not giving me any information on how to do that myself. I actually think if I want to learn to draw myself, those videos are actually quite destructive, because they are more likely to give me the feeling that I should be learning how to draw, and yet I know when I go to draw, I still don't know where to start. I still don't know what to do. And I blame myself instead of realizing it's actually a fault in the way the video has been put together and represented to me. We'll come to what I think is the most important one in a moment. This second last one I think is more obvious. The context that the drawing lesson is delivered in, that the drawing demo is delivered in, is very important in terms of learning to draw efficiently, effectively, getting to where I want to go with the minimum of fuss, if you like. It's always going to take effort, but I don't want to be wasting effort. I want to be watching videos that overlap with how I want to draw, that demonstrate the sort of drawing style, and by that I suppose I mean drawings that look the way I hope my drawings will look. And so I'm going to want to be watching videos where, if possible, the same sorts of materials are being used that I'm wanting to be able to draw in, recognizing that I can't learn everything all at once. There are different materials, there are different drawing styles, there are different subjects we can draw, there are different genres we can draw in, and so forth. I can really enjoy lots of videos that are demonstrating a huge range of things. If I want to chill, relax, be entertained, then any drawing video may well do that, and that's great. But if it's in my time that I've put aside to learn to draw, I want to double up on as many things as possible in the one session, watching the one video, that can together be combining with other things I've been watching, that weaving together of different strands of learning to draw that I mentioned earlier, that will lead me in a steady and observable improvement. So here is, in my opinion, the most important thing. If I'm going to be watching drawing videos, then I'm going to be wanting to find videos that explain an understanding of the drawing process that is the basis for those videos. Because the truth is, there is no drawing way. There is no one way, no right way, one best way to learn to draw and to start and progress and finish a drawing. It all depends on a lot of things, and a lot to do with how I want my end drawing to look, and therefore the skills I'm going to have to learn and the process that will get me to that place. And of course, all of these things can change while we're on our how to draw journey. But if I'm watching a channel with some repeatedness, then I need to be understanding as part of that process. In other words, through watching the videos, I need to be coming to understand how that artist, that teacher, that creator, that presenter, however you want to put it, how they understand the drawing process, and how the process they are now demonstrating to me, teaching to me, flows from that understanding. I often talk of drawing as a translation, we see a visual reality, whether it's in the photo or whether it's in life, and we have to translate it into marks using our tool, which in my case is a black fine liner pen, onto the paper. It's this underlying theory, this underlying understanding of what is the drawing process that guides everything I do. I can learn different drawing techniques and skills. I can learn how to hold a pen. I can learn to understand perspective. I can learn about cross-hatching. I can do pages of straight lines and so forth. But in the end, those things, believe it or not, are not the problem. The problem is knowing what to do, when to do it, how to do it when I'm doing a drawing. And merely knowing the skill or the technique doesn't equip me to know when to use it. It's our understanding of what the drawing process is, what we're trying to achieve, and how, in the big picture, that makes it really easy to know what techniques to use and how to use them. So if the videos we watch don't teach, because this is something we learn. And at the start, I probably just take what the teacher's telling me, and so I'm using their understanding. But if I keep drawing, I will develop it, I will make changes, and I will make it mine in a way that lets me produce the drawings I'm really wanting to produce rather than their drawings. But that's okay. We all learn heavily influenced by the teachers that we engage with. But at some point we learn enough to enjoy the freedom then of adapting that in whatever way we want to use it. One of the ways I know that my videos on my channel can be helpful to some people is because I've seen my own drawing improvement over the last 3.5 years as I've become more aware of my process, as I've come to understand my process more clearly because I'm making videos, and as I discover that being aware more clearly of my process, I've now been able to more consciously put this process into action, and I have seen improvement. And I have a few videos where I show drawings from various eras of the last few years to show the shift in how my drawings look that comes from how my understanding of the drawing process has changed. So I know that if it's helped me, it will help some of you at least. G'day, I'm Travers. If how to draw videos are something that you love to love and love to hate at the same time, then I hope these thoughts have been helpful in helping to work out, am I using the best resources for where I'm at right now? Look, in the end, we're not saying this is good or this is bad. Simply, there are some things that will get me to where I want to go better. I need to be looking at my drawings and thinking actively, are they improving? Are they giving me the results? Is the time I spend with these videos equipping me in developing the skills I need for my drawings? Hey, in the end, whatever you do with your drawing, whatever videos you watch or don't watch, make sure you have fun, because we always want to have fun when we draw. I'll see you next time. Bye.